Our story begins in a small, quiet town called Lone Crow in California. On what seems like a normal day, a few locals go out to enjoy a peaceful picnic by the river. Everything goes calmly until they notice a boat drifting along the shore. Out of curiosity, they decide to get closer and inspect it, but what they find inside leaves them completely shocked. There's a corpse in an advanced state of decomposition, so deteriorated it looks almost melted. Horrified, they immediately call the police. In a remote town surrounded by an eerie forest, a body is found in the river. Without bones, decomposed in an impossible way. What first appears to be a police case quickly becomes a nightmare full of twisted science, dark magic, and monstrous mutations. As the characters enter the cabin of a missing scientist, they uncover secrets that should have stayed hidden, a machine capable of opening doors to other worlds, and a horror that has already started infecting our own universe. How far can science go when mixed with the forbidden? And what happens when you can't even trust your own body? So today we'll be watching The Breach. Shortly after, we meet the protagonist, John Hawkins, the local police chief. Hawkins quickly arrives at the scene. Forensic Officer Connie is already there and tells him the body is in an extremely disturbing state. There are no bones inside, just flesh, as if the bones had been completely removed, something that seems almost impossible. The body is sent for an autopsy. Jacob Redgrave, who works as a coroner, examines it while Hawkins stays close. Jacob explains it looks like someone extracted all the bones with extreme precision, but it's hard to imagine how. They also find a strange insect, a wasp, inside the body, which Jacob saves in a jar. Hawkins asks Connie to keep it safe, as it might offer clues about the cause of death. Later, Connie discovers the victim's identity. It's Dr. Cole Parsons, a scientist who came to Lone Crow the previous year. They find his wallet and some personal items in the boat. He used to be a university professor but left everything behind to live in a remote cabin by the lake, deep in the woods. Connie also finds property documents confirming his residence. Now Hawkins has a lead. He decides to start his investigation by visiting Parsons' cabin in the forest. Before this, we're introduced to Meg Fulbright, who used to work with the police as a wilderness guide and was once Hawkins' girlfriend. Their relationship ended because Hawkins had plans to leave Lone Crow and move to the city, something Meg didn't want. She preferred staying close to nature and didn't want him to go. That difference eventually split them apart. Interestingly, Meg also dated Jacob, adding a layer of personal tension to the story. Hawkins meets Meg and tells her about Cole Parsons' death. Meg remembers Parsons from the year before, when she helped him get some supplies. She knew he was working on some scientific experiments in the woods but didn't know the details. Hawkins asks her to join him on this dangerous trip, and Meg agrees. Hawkins also informs Jacob, who also agrees to go with them. Before they leave, Hawkins tries to gather more information and discovers another disturbing detail. Cole Parsons had a young daughter who disappeared a year ago and was never found. The next day, Hawkins, Meg, and Jacob prepare their gear and head deep into the woods. Part of the trip requires them to travel by boat to reach the isolated cabin. While they're on their way, Connie calls Hawkins and tells him the wasp found in Parsons' body, which had been dead the day before, has now come back to life. Connie asks if she should send it to the lab, but Hawkins tells her to wait until they return. Connie also tells him that when Cole Parsons' daughter went missing, his wife Linda had a mental breakdown and was hospitalized for 3 months. She even blamed Cole for the girl's disappearance. As night falls, Hawkins, Meg, and Jacob finally reach their destination, the old cabin by the lake where Dr. Cole Parsons once lived. But instead of a cozy lakeside shelter, the cabin now looks abandoned and gloomy, almost like a haunted house. Meg is surprised and saddened, as it had been beautiful and welcoming when she visited a year ago. Hawkins tells Meg and Jacob to wait outside while he cautiously enters alone. At first, he calls out, hoping someone's inside, but the place is in total chaos. Furniture is overturned, things are scattered everywhere, and it's clear no one has lived there in a long time. As he explores, we see disturbing details, like the ceiling shifting in an unnatural way, hinting at something sinister. Hawkins finds a room with the door tightly shut. He chooses not to force it for now and returns outside to bring Meg and Jacob in. Since it's already late and they're deep in the forest, they decide to spend the night in the cabin despite the eerie atmosphere. While exploring, they hear strange noises echoing through the house. Hawkins tries to calm them, saying it's probably just rats or raccoons, but the tension keeps rising. Suddenly, the lights in the cabin flicker and turn on by themselves, making the place feel even more ominous. They find a door leading to the basement and decide to investigate. There they discover a large power source, an odd machine that looks like a huge industrial charger. Though they can't fully grasp its purpose, it seems powerful and dangerous. This aligns with earlier clues about a mysterious machine tied to Cole's experiments. Searching the kitchen cabinets, they notice thick cables going upstairs, suggesting the machine might connect to something hidden in the attic. The room Hawkins had found locked before is now mysteriously open. He tells the others, and the three go in to inspect it. They discover the walls covered with strange drawings and occult symbols, mixed with scientific notes and bizarre items. It looks like a twisted blend of science and dark magic, and some sketches are disturbingly dark and terrifying. As they examine everything, a large fly bites Jacob on the face. Furious and shaken, Jacob leaves the room to calm down. A bit later, Hawkins contacts Connie and asks her to look into who built that strange house. But due to electromagnetic interference from the attic, the call is abruptly cut. Meanwhile, tension between Jacob and Hawkins rises, as Jacob still feels hurt over Meg. She dated him before Hawkins. This creates an awkward atmosphere among the three. As they prepare for bed, Hawkins suggests they all stay in one room for safety. But Meg refuses, preferring to sleep separately. That night, Jacob starts to feel very ill, likely from the insect bite he received earlier. No one manages to sleep well. Meg confides in Hawkins that she feels something deeply wrong in the place. Though she spent many nights alone in the woods before, this cabin feels different, menacing. Their conversation brings them closer again, and there's a hint of renewed intimacy between them. Meanwhile, we see a staircase slowly descending from the attic, adding to the unsettling tension. Jacob's condition worsens, and he seems to lose control of himself. Suddenly, they hear a noise outside. They quickly grab their clothes and weapons, rush out and come face to face with a woman holding a shotgun. It turns out to be Linda, Doctor, Cole Parsons' wife, who has come searching for her missing husband. Hawkins quickly explains that they're with the police and found Cole's body by the river. Realizing they're not a threat, Linda lowers her weapon. They all sit down to talk. Hawkins asks Linda how she found such a remote cabin. She says she got the info from a private agency and arrived the day before to look for Cole. While they talk, Meg heads to the basement to try and restore the cabin's power. There, the audience sees the ghostly silhouette of a small girl following her. When Meg turns, she finds a doll and decides to keep it, sensing it holds meaning. Meanwhile, Hawkins notices Jacob is missing and goes to look for him. He looks up and sees strange activity coming from the attic. The three rush upstairs and find Jacob trapped inside the strange machine they had suspected earlier. They pull him out quickly, but he's clearly shaken, dazed, and disconnected from reality. In this tense moment, Linda hears the voice of her missing daughter calling from the attic, adding a painful and emotional layer to the mystery. After pulling Jacob out of the machine, Hawkins and the others question him, asking how the machine turned on and why he was in the attic. Jacob, confused and weak, insists he doesn't remember anything. Meanwhile, Linda stands before the strange machine. Deeply disturbed, Meg asks her what it really is. Linda explains it's a particle collider designed to generate a strong magnetic field. She warns it's extremely dangerous and potentially deadly to humans. Hawkins then takes Linda to the room filled with dark sketches and eerie symbols. Horrified, Linda insists she lived with Cole for 10 years, but is sure that twisted work isn't his. She believes something much darker possessed him. Amid all this, Hawkins finds a laptop with a password. He asks Linda to unlock it, but before she can, they see Cole Parsons standing outside, alive and seemingly normal. They run out in shock, realizing it's no illusion. Overwhelmed with anger and betrayal, Linda slaps Cole. He accepts the hit in silence, saying he deserves everything that's happening. Back inside, they sit down to talk. Hawkins demands answers about where Cole has been and what's going on, mentioning they found a body and thought he was dead. Cole just laughs and avoids giving clear answers, especially about the machine or his experiments. Meanwhile, at the police station, Connie keeps trying to reach Hawkins. She notices something alarming. The wasp they found dead hasn't just come back to life. It has now multiplied, and there are two. This strongly suggests a connection to Cole's strange machine. At the same time, Jacob's condition worsens. His body starts changing grotesquely. New nails grow over the old ones, extra teeth form, and layers of bone develop. He's mutating rapidly, clearly a result of his exposure to the machine. Hawkins keeps questioning Cole, but he refuses to give real answers. Even when Linda asks directly why he disappeared, he only responds with vague, confusing remarks. Meanwhile, Jacob appears to be following Cole's orders, as if under some kind of mind control. Later, when Linda goes to check on Jacob, she's horrified by how deformed his body has become. She runs to warn Hawkins and Meg. Seeing Jacob's terrifying transformation, everyone panics and decides they must leave at once. But when they go outside, they realize the boat they arrived in is gone. Hawkins becomes even more suspicious of Cole. When Cole makes some cryptic and disturbing comments, Hawkins loses control. He strikes Cole, knocks him to the ground, and cuffs him to prevent further danger. Linda suggests checking a nearby camp, thinking there might be another way out or someone to help. Hawkins and Meg agree and head to the camp. Upon arrival, they find plenty of equipment and supplies, but also discover several decomposed and mutilated corpses. Shocked and horrified, they quickly leave. Outside, Meg vomits from the stress and the gruesome sight. Hawkins stays by her side to comfort her. And in that moment of vulnerability, Meg reveals that she is pregnant. Back at the cabin, Linda is left alone with Cole. She begins to piece things together and realizes Cole has been hiding many dark secrets. She manages to unlock his laptop using the nickname Tinkerbell, which Cole used to call her. On the laptop, she finds horrifying footage showing that Cole had been experimenting on people using the machine. Every time someone entered, something evil grew inside them, as if a demonic entity took over. It's also revealed that Cole himself entered the machine. The mutilated corpse found at the beginning was actually Cole's real body. The Cole before them now is a monstrous version born from that machine. In a shocking twist, it's revealed he even sacrificed his daughter as part of his horrific experiments. At that moment, Cole locks Linda in a room to stop her from interfering. When Hawkins and Meg return, they discover Cole is gone. Hawkins asks Meg to wait outside and carefully enters the house with his weapon drawn. Inside, he finds Jacob's body splitting from the inside. Suddenly, a monstrous, mutated creature emerges from Jacob's remains and attacks Hawkins. He fights desperately to survive. Just in time, Meg rushes in with a weapon and shoots the creature, finally killing it. After witnessing the horror, Hawkins realizes they must destroy the machine to end the nightmare. He sends Meg outside for safety and begins preparing to destroy the device using gasoline and improvised explosives. Meanwhile, Linda escapes the room holding an axe, determined to kill Cole with her own hands. But when she reaches the basement, she sees a vision of her daughter inside the machine. Overwhelmed with emotion, Linda loses control and enters the machine, becoming another victim of its evil power. Outside, mutated humans, former subjects of Cole's experiments, begin emerging from the forest, slowly heading toward the house. Meg stands her ground, shooting as many as she can, but they keep coming in overwhelming numbers. In the basement, Hawkins finds gasoline and carries it up to the attic where Cole is waiting. By now, Linda has fully transformed, and Meg is forced to shoot and kill her, heartbroken. In the attic, a brutal fight breaks out between Hawkins and the mutated Cole. Cole bites off 2 of Hawkins' fingers, but Hawkins manages to grab a metal rod and smashes Cole's head with it. Seizing the moment, Hawkins sets the attic on fire. As flames spread rapidly, Hawkins yells for Meg to escape. Meg manages to run out, but Cole grabs Hawkins, preventing him from leaving. A massive explosion rips through the house, destroying everything inside. Hawkins dies in the blast, sacrificing himself to end the terror. Meg is left alone, deeply shaken. In the final moments, we see a chilling glimpse of the mutated creatures approaching her, suggesting her nightmare is far from over. Then the story jumps ahead 8 months. We see Meg at home, and she is pregnant. Connie arrives to return some of Hawkins's belongings. After Connie leaves, Meg burns those items, and we then see Meg's fully decomposed body under a tree. This means Meg is no longer who she once was. Now she is something else, or someone completely different. Her unborn child will not be normal either. This is where the movie ends. Some questions arise at the end of the story. Cole's machine truly opened a door to another dimension, created by mixing science with dark magic. When someone entered the machine, creatures from another world would enter their body and be born inside them. These entities were a type of demon, or perhaps something even worse. It's not clearly explained, but their only purpose was to harm and kill humans. Meg never entered the machine, so how did her body change? In reality, if a mutated person bites a normal human, the virus enters their body and transforms them too. Even if Hawkins had survived, he would have died anyway, since Cole had bitten him. Now everything depends on Meg, what kind of destruction she'll bring into the world.